Good evening, everyone. Oh, music's still going. Good evening. It's been a while. I've had tech issues to no end. But hey, that's what happens when you update a bunch of things and, well, things break. Anyway, I'm your caster for this evening, Line Bus, and today we do actually have something different-ish. We have a different league that I'll be casting tonight, being CCS's NEXOMANIA with the Let Them Wither Tuesday division. As you can see on screen, we have Pidge's Perilous plays facing off against Icecrown Citadel Raiders. I'm opening up the map in the background and stalling for time, so what I'm going to do is no fancy transitions today because, well, things broke, and I'm just doing with bare basic stuff and at least a score count. So, looking at it, we have the first map of Infernal Shrines. I unfortunately do not know what the bands were. However, I do know that we are going to Infernal Shrines, and by the looks of it, everyone is on the correct sides, at least in the game. However, we will get in game just a moment when I remember how to do all this, because, oh boy, it's been a while. But right. This should be good. I do know a few of these people. There's actually some really good people within both these teams. They're quite smart, very funny at times. However, we may not see that, as all we will be seeing is the game itself. And by the looks of it, speaking of the game, it is now loaded. So what I'll do is without my fancy buttons, just fade over to this screen, click play, and we will jump straight into it. Right, and on the left-hand side, we have Mr. Craig on the Sonya, Crate Beast on the... I can't remember Tychus' name. I see it's Tychus. Pidge on the... Oh, the very strong Rhaegar currently. Icy Morning on that Vala. And last but not least, we have Frank Castle on the Mirrodin. On the right-hand side, we have Xerxes on the Cassia Zins 70? I think that's how you say it. On the Anduin, Mr. Papercuts on the Junkrat, Dark Knight on the Diablo, and last but not least, stuck in the middle of everything, is Chelsea on the Dahaka, and we are once again going to do the age-old tradition of just fighting a little bit in mid, or we're just going to awkwardly posture, only time will tell. I am feeling real out of practice right now, so this should be interesting. Dark Knight gets scouted. Mirrodin eats a trap as well in the bush. However, it does get pushed back out. Mr. Craig does go in early, just trying to get that wave clear advantage. Drunket just poking at it, while Dark Knight's just a bit out of position to really do anything with it. So we do see the wave clear advantage does go over to the side of Pidge's Perilous plays at first, and this will just be back to the general rotations by the look of it. Icy Morning is a bit caught out from the rest, isolated from the rest of the team, so can't go in. Frank Castle doing an excellent job at stalling the rotation, as we just have everyone's talking around. And Dark Knight now is actually the one separated from their team, kind of like how Icy Morning was separated. So funny how that works out. Camps have just come up now, and we do see Junkrat if I don't push my buttons, and we do see Junkrat on it immediately. As other things to note, off-lane matchup, Sonya's winning at the moment, but as the game goes along, and by the looks of it, as Chelsea gets that tissue regeneration up, they become much harder to kill over time. And looking at it, we do see both teams doing their respective camps. Surprising? Not really, but it is at least happening, which is at least the right thing to do in this situation. Well, we have Diablo just sitting here near Frank Castle. I'm going to close that again temporarily, just so we can see what is happening once again, as I awkwardly push buttons. We see Dark Knight does get a charge and flip onto Frank Castle, however, not much comes from it just because of where the damage was sitting at the time. We do actually have a double rotation going on up here, so this bottom lane is starting to get prioritized, and actually Pidge's Perilous plays is starting to look at that siege camp, however, not wanting to fully commit. We do actually have fours coming in, so I'm going to briefly bring up talent. So things to note here actually is, oh wow, Totem on Rhaegar. This is probably one of the highest win rates level 1 talents currently, I believe. Quite strong in basically all areas of the game, all levels of the game, I should say, from Bronze to Masters and Grandmasters. Other things to note is we do have the Creed of a Hunter on Vala. We do have actually a lot of auto attacks on this side. I'm just looking at now, it maybe end up being a Blood Loss comp. We'll wait to see that. Frank Castle gets charged. Fortunately, it is just a Mirrodin. Mirrodin does have that leap to get out of danger. We have jumping in, and actually that will be the Tychus taking out the Cassia. First blood going over the side of Pidge's Perilous plays. And I was trying to say, Master Assassin, Awesome Tigers, so that's why we're interesting to see that heavy auto attack team will probably go into something such as Bloodlust, and actually we see Shrines coming up. I do like that Mr. Craig has started their camp while Dahaka is trying to make sure that they aren't missing any soak, as you can see that level disparity thanks to Vijus. Sonya does soak a bit better than Dahaka at first, but Dahaka does catch up around the mid-game, around 7s, and we are catching up to that now. As well as you got to remember, he is a global. They will have that advantage going in later in the game, so it'll be interesting to see where it goes. In terms of quests for the right side, however, looking at Icecrown, Citadel, Raiders, we do have only 2 of them. We have Tissue Regeneration on the Dahaka, so extra regen coming along, as well as we see the Piercing Light by Anduin, a talent some people call a meme. I like it, depending on the comp. I like it into this comp because it looks like they are going to be rushed down at one point or another. I'm going to zoom out a bit further to show everything, but should be interesting. Junkrat's an interesting build, to say the least. I don't usually see boom power, but I like to see where Junkrat goes with this. Speaking of Junkrat, he's just kind of pushing. Actually getting a lot of value, which you think it's about as much value here as you typically get in first Punisher. And Mr. Craig doesn't quite hit the spear, and they all get mined out for it. Sometimes it's just like that. Good take by Pidge's Perilous plays. I may have seen just try to do a little bit more of a map while they're at 39, just because they could have come back and tagged at least one at some point. However, it's still a more to Punisher early on. Let's see if they can get as much as the red team did bottom with this Punisher. We can already see the first tower gone down. Pidge very lucky to not go over wall there and is able to take out the second tower. And that means, yeah, this Punisher was worth it. They did manage to balance out the pressure Junkrat got bottom, and they're able to actually get a little bit of force as well. Nice stuff there. Just looking at it again, is there anything as of note? I can't really see anything. Seraph's Hymn is interesting. We're getting some interesting stuff coming out from both sides. So I can still go into that grenade build now. Look at it. So Master Assassin means there is probably an Odin on the way. Good burrow by Dahaka with that pushback. Is able to get out safely, and that totem actually doing its job. Oh, Frank Castle does get pushed under. However, it is Mirrodin at the end of the day, and they are able to jump out to safety easily, pretty much. Wonderful thing about Mirrodin into Diablo, if Diablo just pushes you into the gate, jump. Just jump over it. I'm making a hand motion like jump as if you can see it. You can't. There's no camera. I'm not putting a camera on. And there's a good route, stopping Dark Knight from pushing it any further. However, this camp now does kind of have to get given over. We do see the charge going on to Frank Castle. Frank Castle does get pulled in. The damage starting to tack up onto Mirrodin. Mirrodin getting relatively low. Does jump out, walk back into use the stun. However, Cleanse does come out. Frank Castle. No one was lost there. That was actually a lot of damage going out on both tanks. I'm a bit surprised that didn't... No one went down. Pidge is playing a dangerous game. Well, we see Frank Castle going in. Maybe the jump comes out. No, we just see a little bit of smacking, a little bit of hammer tossing. And we do see Dark Knight being stunned for his Junkrat's effort. I can zoom back in, actually. I can just do this. We're actually getting near 10s. Both teams actually, as I said, with that one objective phase, we did see the Junkrat and as well as the Dahaka team kind of balancing it out, and it is actually making up for it. That was a good push by Dark Knight getting... pushing Frank Castle off Xerxes, meaning that they won't. And actually we see an Ancestral here. Ancestral Leap. We do see the Odin like I thought. However, what is the last... we have Mirrodin Avatar, and I don't know what Vala's picking up yet. We'll wait and see. I think Vala and Anduin are both holding theirs just to see what the other goes. So I think one's holding it going, okay, what if they go... Oh, no, it's Light Bomb in the end, so it'll be interesting to see where Vala goes here. Okay, we'll come back to Vala. On the right side of Icecrown Citadel Raiders, we see Ball... Okay, there you go. Rain of Vengeance. They win it anyway. You see Ball Lightning, Riptire. I'm making hand gestures again as if people can see it. That's not how this works. We see the Isolation from Dahaka, Light Bomb from Anduin, and last but not least, that Apocalypse from Diablo. Will be a bit of a problem. Frank Castle caught out in a bit of a sticky situation, but again, it is a Mirrodin who has jump. It'll be interesting where these fights go now, because there are some very good CC tools on both sides, very good lockdown. Be interesting to see who can actually win these out, as both teams have a lot of burst wombo potential. You have the Light Bomb and Apoc, which, well, not the most quote-unquote natural pairings, such as a Leyline Apoc or a Void Prism Apoc. Keeping someone stunned for a long time on that objective can do a lot, and actually Dark Knight is scouting the objective here. They may be a bit too aggressive, but Fortunately for them, the blue team was just a bit later on rotating up. Any sooner, that may have been a lot of problems for the tank of ICCR. Pidge jumps in. Good dog bite. Love it. I love that sound effect. And now we do see the blue team pushing in. And we just see a very defensive positioning here from the red team. Just, oh, Dahaka ate a lot of damage there. We don't have an adaptation. We have an isolation, so they can't necessarily get that back too easily. Fortunately, there's a trait Dahaka, so we can see. That is Riptide coming out. There is Light Bomb. We have a stun onto Muradin. That is that going out. Muradin getting just all the health going. And that also, I was trying to talk about that Light Bomb APOC combo. There's also Riptide, just meaning they could not escape. That's excellent tongue on to the Sonya. Sonya getting Ancestral so they don't die. They wouldn't have died at this point with the amount of health there. Sonya, not Sonya. Vala got stunned. Vala on 100 health. Vala actually able to get out. Actually, they're all able to get out after that tank was lost so early in the fight. Icy Morning went down to barely above 100 health, and even Sonya would have died without Ancestral. However, that is the second Arcane Punisher, well, the second Punisher, but first Arcane Punisher of the game, going over to the side of ICC. Ah, man, I forgot how much I enjoy doing this. That is an excellent place to get that to jump to. Maybe a bit too far away of the gates, but... oh, wait, what I was about to say doesn't matter, as again, if you haven't played in a while, the wells on every map was made invulnerable after the most recent patch. And that means now the Punisher will no longer hit it, so you do actually keep it up for a bit longer. We see an assist ping coming out. I do not know who from, I cannot see who from. All I know is the assist ping went out, and it looks to be as if it was Pidge's Perilous plays. Yeah, that's the team name. I was like, is that right? Yeah, it's right. Good stun by Muradin, keeping Diablo off, and that means they are able to safely get the objective. Sonya and Dahaka fighting a mid, and yeah, as I said, oh, that is isolation down a miss, but as I said, as we get later into the game, Dahaka and Sonya become much closer in power level. It actually looks like Dahaka, if I push the right button, went to the auto attack talent. He did? Sometimes I know. So auto attack Dahaka, it's not a talent taken as much. You typically see the, I think it's minus armor at 13. However, I do like this considering Dahaka has been 1v1ing a lot. It gives a lot of 1v1 power to them. It'll just be interesting to see where it goes within the team fights, as it doesn't lend into kind of the wombo play that we saw before as the armor reduction does, but it does definitely give him a lot more 1v1 scraping power, which is important into the Sonya, especially when you're getting tongues and you're getting the tongue cooldown reduction on autos, and it just all powers into the other. However, of course, if I push the right button, this one, yeah, but the more essence Dahaka has, the more it does, and with the build he is, that will eventually get up to 60. Yeah, 60. Which stacks up over time. That is math. Yeah, I can't be doing maths. That's someone else's job. And Mr. Papercut does get himself out. Very well done with that mine. Something I wouldn't be able to do. I have too high ping, so... nice! And we just have... oh, sorry. We have the blue team just being poked down by Junkrat. They're getting the wave in, that Icy Morning on Vala. Auto attack Vala is still being quite strong, just very squishy still. Always squishy. Actually, we see a nice macro play here that you don't see too often anymore, which I believe it was referred to as the cage and run. I can't remember who told me that a little bit back, but essentially what you do is you'll basically force all the other team into behind their gates, into the fort area, and then have an easier rotate up, which we saw happen there as we had the red team rotate, stand here, that to, push buttons wrong, that to rotate all the way around here, while the blue team could just walk straight up. Nice little bit of macro play there, maybe not on purpose, but it did at least kind of, in execution, work the same way. Oh, we do have a rotation up here. Mr. Craig isn't in immediate danger. Diablo isn't near enough for them, and we do see objective bottom, so it's likely we're going to see a rotation down for that. Again, we see the advantage to Haka here. They should be able to rotate back later. However, Mr. Craig is staying. I wonder how that will do in the long run. Oh, we're actually going to watch this fight because this hasn't started yet. They're just trading abilities and walking away. Just calm. Safety. Yes. Anyway, going down to the objective, we see Frank Castle goes in, not by his own choice, however. Quince is used by Pidge, that means it is on full cooldown, as I didn't see any CC abilities on Frank Castle. Chelsea does burrow in, manages to get out without eating too much. Light Bomb doesn't quite connect, however that APOC will, as we see once again the Muradin getting melted, and that I believe was Ancestral Muse on Muradin, however it was a bit too late. Chelsea does get the tongue out onto Mr. Craig, however the tongue means Mr. Actually that pull may have saved Mr. Craig there. Hard to tell as Chelsea was also quite low. And with the Vala and the Tychus themselves just being able to kind of wrestle out the red team with just the amount of damage that is coming through. We see a lot coming through. Also should mention that Pidge is doing very well on the Rhaegar here, and it's still pretty close. We do see a tongue coming out onto... Oh, Icy Morning. Icy Morning does get to live, thank you to the Ancestral. However, the red team now no Ancestral down. They are pushing their advantage. Mr. Craig does get go back in. Doesn't get punished for it, and that is Paul coming out onto Chelsea. However, I believe someone is about to get jumped. And thank you to that level 13. The speed of the Pious Anduin is able to get out safely without getting jumped by the Frozen Punisher. And actually I should mention throughout that phase, this camp managed to get top 4 and actually pushing the wall quite well. Going back bottom lane. I'm just going to briefly look at it. Just smell the roses, look at the lane, see what's happening. Watch the poke. We see Diablo is about to take the jump. There it is. Blue team cannot really follow up on that. They needed to kill this wall a lot faster, but we do see just gates being prioritized. My camera work is shoddy. It's been a while. We are not going to judge that today, however, as we do have the Frozen Punisher pushing in once again. That's a nice triple hit from Junkrat. And Muradin walks into a trap. Nice. I love Muradin. One of my preferred tanks. I'm not good at tank, but one of my preferred tanks. Banks? Tanks, definitely. And we just see now the blue team is designed to paint it a bit blue per se, as we do have the 5-man rotations feeling very safe right now. As they can see Junkrat on map, and now they can see Dahaka also in the top lane. Very safe play happening here. They're just a bit concerned. The red team just being a bit concerned currently of, ICCR's respecting the blue team as a blue team. I really need to say the team names more. That's what I need to get better at here. While Pidge's Perilous plays are definitely kind of just able to spread their wings, so to speak. Muradin does jump. It actually hits the hammer. And actually that'll be Mr. Peppercut going down to the Vala Q. Mr. Peppercut is a bit stuck under the tower, but however is able to get out before anyone is able to CC him under there. Okay, well now we have a 5v4. What is going to happen here? I would like to see the side of Pidge's Perilous plays kind of just push into this and see what they can do. They are slowly poking it down. However, again, they are just kind of going. Where are they going, however? Camp. I was even zoom out for effect. Camp. But there's not really much Red can do here again. They are still down their Junkrat, they are out that disruption, that removal, that poke damage, so they can't really step in. And once again, Pidge's Perilous plays just does kind of have a little bit of run of the map. The Junkrat is up in 5 seconds. Not the best place to be for Pidge's Perilous plays for too long. They do look like they are, in fact, backing out, just because we now do have 4 of the 5 top, and Dahaka may have Burrow up. I actually don't know. He does indeed have Brush Stalker up, I mean. I don't remember there we go. E is the button for go to everyone. Let's have a look at talents. Wait, another level. Once level 20s come through, I'll have another show of builds for at least Pidge's team. The Pidge team? Pidge Perilous players? I don't know, it feels weird saying Pidge's team because I don't think they have a captain. Pidge's Perilous players. Right, but we do actually see 20s come in, as I will open that up while things are happening. We do see Ignore Pain from Sonya, the big red button from Tychus, and actually we do see a stun coming out onto Dahaka. Dahaka is that speed barrow with ooh, that is a lot of damage, a lot of stuns going out onto Muradin. Muradin not able to go far, and actually now Light Bomb's used. That is a double stun by the Light Bomb of Anduin. That is actually Vala going down next. Mr. Craig does get pushed and flipped. That will be the Sonya following suit, and actually that is a free kill for the side of Icecrown Citadel Raiders, even being down 20s. That is not the fight you want if you are Pidge's Perilous players. Freight Beast does get Ancestral, Pidge being maybe a bit too trigger happy on that. However, you are kind of needing to mitigate your losses, and that is a good way to do so. I need to quickly mute myself as I have a frog in my throat, so give me a moment. And I'm back. Actually, we have objective up. That's very good timing for ICCR by the looks of it. I'm just going to push buttons. There we go. Back to the right screen. Looking at it, we do have 20s through as Ignore Pain. We have that. We have Big Red Button. We have Rewind. Actually, I'll do like this for Blue Pidge and Crate Beast is designed to take that. Crate Beast may have shown on this wall, unsure, but Diablo is about to scout it. We do have Vala with Firefight Quiver, and we do have the Double Ancestral, I don't know what it's called, Farseer's Blessing from the Rhaegar. On the right hand side, we do have Infinite Ball Lightning by the Cassia. What's the actual name? It's just called Infinite Lightning. Nice. Junkrat is pondering. I do like Endless Smash. Oh, we've got a fight happening down here, sorry. Dark Knight does get the double stun off through via the Anduin Light Bomb. However, not much else comes of that. Contagion from Dahaka, Light Bomb upgrade from Anduin, which I don't know what's called either. Inner Fire, which increased move speed and armor. And actually, Diablo did go Lord of Terror, so they will have an easier way to regain souls and health when they are in the thick of things. And in this map, you will be in the thick of things. Just have this poke going on. Just neither team wants to fully commit. That is a jump going on to Sonya. Actually, they don't quite give it a wall. Big red button does get a nice hit, and that is Mr. Craig being pushed in the wall. There's a flip, and that is a dead Sonya. No amount of Ignore Pain may help you there, as you're stuck in the mosh and not being let out. I can't save it because ECC's a character. Being clawed? Being flipped? We do a triple flip. Being forced to flip out? Something like that. It will be interesting to see where we go from here. I'm actually going to get rid of this and should briefly show just this number just to see what is happening in the map. We do have a bit of lockdown going on Dark Knight. Dark Knight probably not appreciating being stunned for quite that long, but I don't think Mr. Craig appreciated that either when they were being comboed to death by the team of Icecrown Citadel Raiders. She is still looking very... still very close, actually. While we do see a kill lead on this side of... That's not one I want, that's one I want. On the side of Icecrown Citadel Raiders, we do see that Pidge's Perilous Plays does have a structure lead where they still have 2 forts up compared to the 1 of Icecrown Citadel Raiders, but it looks like it's going to get some more passive play. This better not be a 30-minute game. I did not sign up for I did sign up for a 30-minute game, apparently. But I did not sign up for a 30-minute game right about now. But let's see where we go. I have faith that one of these teams will get a win shortly, at least. We do have a much easier time for Pidge's Perilous Plays, as they do have top fort mostly down. However, not much of a lane there. Similarly, we do have front gate down a little bit down of mid fort for Icecrown Citadel Raiders to push through. However, we don't see much more going there. And actually, we have what looks like a little bit of a gank coming up, a little bit of a catch out rotation. But no, we see there as being a very safe rotation here by most of nope, now Frank is going safe. Yeah, very safe rotations here by the blue team. While we do see Chelsea once again living it up down bottom with a Dahaka pick. Yeah. Dahaka. Love the space, Yoshi. Anyway. As we just see the camps once again being taken. Actually, I would like for them to hold this and just wait for someone to push in. But they'll cap it. We'll see the others run away. Oh, yeah, we see the immediate change of mind of the engage there. And that will be the camp just easily going over to the side of Icecrown Citadel Raiders. However, this is likely going to be a fight to decide over this objective. Oh, wait, no, we're not. We're going for a camp. Junkrat gets himself out. Stacey. Zerf, it says, gets captured by the... That's a nice APOC actually hitting 2 of them. There's a light bomb coming out. Dark Knight hitting now 3 of them. That is an excellent Junkrat tire. Pidge is first to go down. That is the Rhaegar down. That is not a good sign. Mr. Craig getting very low. Gets pushed in. And that'll be them going down next. That ball lightning just getting so much value there. Actually, Cassia does already have it back thanks to that cooldown reduction. Junkrat tire took a lot of damage. And that is Crate Beast low. Can they escape? That was a try at the tire going over. And we do see Frank Castle getting hit by it. Nope, it ran out of time. Dark Knight, does he have the charge? No, they do not. Actually, all the way through this, we do have Dahaka doing that objective. And actually, was that a 5v4? I can't recall. However, it looks like we have the red team making a end call here. We maybe actually be able to see a little bit of a defense between Frank Castle and Icy Morning. Just not if he gets charged. Actually, Dark Knight maybe in a bit of a perilous position here themselves, as they are healed up by Zin70, as well as we do see the Haka coming down now, and it looks like an end call has been made. It may have been made a bit late, as we do see Rhaegar respawning, as well as Sonya coming back up soon with both with their ults respectively. And you see where we go, but we do have a lot of pressure with that wave, and we do see Core quickly falling. Frank Castle hitting a nice stun. Dark Knight does get all that health back with that, and that is a nice double stun. There's a Core actually hitting 20. There's Rhaegar going down, and that is the Core soon to follow. GG! That'll be the first map going over to the side of Icecrown Citadel Raiders. As I just remembered how I do my system. Give me a moment. I need to push buttons! What is it again? It is this button, and then I do this while I wait for that to go away. Yeah, so looking at it, we had some interesting stuff here. I definitely did like how the blue team, how the team Pidge's Perilous Blades did kind of try to capitalize on their early game advantage, and they did actually get quite a few kills, but pre-level 10 just getting that mirrored onto someone, as well as the others following it up. However, once the 10s came in, we did see quite a large turnaround just with that APOC Light Bomb, just kind of a combo that came out between the Icecrown Citadel Raiders. It did look like it was a uphill battle in terms of the fight itself. That may just be just how the comps are formed, just because there is such a large amount of CC, but even like with Sonya having leap, APOC would always go out after that leap, and we did see that kind of ultimately leading over to the side of Icecrown Citadel Raiders. Things I mentioned, both healers quite close on healing. Anduin did actually edge out over Rhaegar. In terms of soak, we actually had Dahaka doing 31k. That is an impressive amount, and I think that is what actually kept Icecrown Citadel Raiders in the game for so long. I'm just going to quickly show talents just for you who would like that. Here they are. I'm going to move my mouse off that. We do see some interesting stuff. It's not often you see this Primal Rage. I did like the change here. It is a nice one. This Mind Build is something I haven't seen too much, especially in this form, but I did like it. It did pay off in quite a few times. 100 free stacks on Icy Mornings with that Creative Hunter. It was quite a difficult one to go into because getting caught out by Diablo is not ideal, to say the least. But yeah, other than that, I liked that comp. What I'm going to do is actually mute myself, put on some music, have a quick drink to make sure my throat doesn't get a bit too dry, but I'll be right back with you as soon as I can. As I keep stalling for time, I'm going to change screen to this. I'm going to mute myself now, put on music, and I'll see you soon. And we are back. Kind of a abrupt cut to the music, but I am loading up the game now, and actually you'll hear in just a moment.
Prepare yourselves. The battle begins.
Tomb of the Spider Queen. As we'll head over into the game now when I push my button. There we go, and I've decided to hyper zoom in on Mr. Craig for apparently no reason. Sorry about that. As we have Mr. Craig on that. I'm trying to remember his name. I play him a lot. Leoric. Pidge on the Ana. I like it. Great Beast on the... I'm making hand gestures like I am him. Gul'dan. Icy Morning back on that Vala, and Frank Castle on the Varian likely going to be taunt. And we did have a pause apparently. That's why there's now a large amount of text in the middle of my screen. Anyway, on the right hand side, we have Dark Knight on the Stitches. Mr. Papercuts on the Bellstard. Yes. Chelsea on the Blaze, which may be the offlane. Zeus is once again on the... No, it's on the other team now. Zeus is on the Minigun Man Tychus, as well as Zin 70 on the Anduin once again. Yep, actually we see Bellstard going bottom. Interesting. Actually, that may have been that Mr. Craig did pick up Blaze picks up the Orc after Blaze, meaning that is not a good matchup right there, so that would mean Mr. Papercut is taking over, and actually that is a much more favourable matchup for Mr. Papercut there. Actually, what I need to do is I need to briefly pause. I'm actually going to briefly pause this, sorry everyone, and I will be right back after I just quickly do something. So bear with me just a moment as I come right back. Thank you for bearing with me. We'll get right back into the game in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As we do see Mr. Craig taking a decent amount of damage there, however is able to rotate out safely. We do his Zeus is just pew 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 pewing. Tychus's thing, his what he is known for, the pew pews, or Tracer, or Raynor. Quite a few heroes. Anyway, it's interesting to see what will happen here, because we do actually have quite a bulky 4-man from the side of Icecrown Citadel Raiders. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Actually, Blaze is considering rotating back down, seeing what's happening there. However, Mr. Papercut still not really in danger. Okay. Now, why is this? Do we see Mr. Papercut go bottom camp? Maybe not the best rotation, may have shown him that kind of area, but we do see it being a start at Chelsea taking. And as I said, that's why it's not a good matchup for Blaze. If Blaze gets hit by a creepy hand, it's not going to go well. That does steal health. And the larger health will win. Yep. I don't know what you can do about this, Greg. You have a Blaze right there. You have to run in 2v1 if you're going to do that. And you get embodied. Get stunned. Focus has changed onto him. Actually, we do see the blue team rotating down first, man. We're able to stall for long enough. And actually, there's the blue team getting it over. There's an excellent pull by Zin 70. As even with taunt, the pull would have saved them. So it's a bit kind of, where's it set? They're kind of fine in the end. Good stun coming off onto Mr. Craig. Actually, excellent. Sleeped up by Pidge, meaning Chelsea takes a bit more damage than they like. However, at the end of the day, it was not enough to kind of kill off Chelsea. So we're actually seeing Chelsea take a lot of damage here. Mr. Papercut does get hit by the swing, does roll out, but however the mana means they will have to half soon enough. And actually we do see, looking at this now, Pidge's Perilous Blaze is getting closer to the turn-in van ICC Icecrown Citadel Raiders, so we'll be interested to see where this goes soon enough, as we will be approaching the first objective phase of the game. Actually, we do see two, I'm going to talk about this a little. We see two very similar style pick comps, just one is a bit more up in your face and easier to kind of execute, as if Frank Castle does get on top of someone, they will be able to kind of finish them off, more or less. It's a bit more easy than Dark Knight's skill shot. However, if the skill shot is hit for Dark Knight, that is a much safer kind of turn in. There's a much safer kill for the side of Icecrown Citadel Raiders. Actually, interesting to see we don't go stun out. We do get an excellent sleep onto Chelsea. That is hook coming out, not quite hitting anyone as both Frank Castle and Icy Morning were able to double back and not do anything. Actually, we do see blue team is quite comfortably into the objective zone, and actually just as that happened, we do see now that Icecrown Citadel Raiders is now able to turn in. Interesting to see we don't see turn in happening by Pidge's Perilous plays. It just kind of, both teams are waiting. I'm interested to see if they're just waiting to see if they can get a pick first, like that could have been. However, Dark Knight doesn't quite have that fishing hook yet. That doesn't come through till the 13s. As we do see that mid wave being taken out by the side of, once again, Pidge's Perilous players. Both teams just posturing. The thing at the moment is, Icecrown Citadel Raiders do have more to lose currently, as we do see 18 numbers to paper cut, and we do see they have 45 in general. Not something you want to be caught short on. We see Xerxes actually finally turning in, kind of diminishing how much of a problem it will be if some sort of wipe happens here. Great Beast does their best to lead that way. Frank Castle won't actually be able to step up to get those gems. There's a taunt coming out onto Tiger. It's not quite the person you want. Blaze gets an excellent 3-man stun. That is a grenade coming out of Frank Castle. However, nothing will be found from that little engagement there. Okay, Dark Knight, you having fun just in that bush? Right on, brother. Anyway, that is an excellent stun once again coming out onto Frank Castle. Frank Castle just taking a fair amount of damage, but not much coming from it. Great Beast does get hit by the hook. However, that is not them going down. Xerxes is doing a lot of damage onto Frank Castle, and actually that looks like it is indeed in the rhythm. Not much gone from it yet, but it is indeed in the rhythm. And actually, that will be the red web weaver's turn in first. Not where I thought it was going, but here we are. That is a hook coming out from Dark Knight. However, the team's not close enough to follow up. That taunt will come out. However, Dark Knight is pulled to safety by the Anduin. Thank you, Anduin. Blessed be Anduin. But yeah, looking at talent, sorry, I haven't actually looked at them yet. We do have a corruption build from cooldown, an older build now. We see a lot of drain life builds. I can't actually remember what the W's killed, drain hope, something like that. We see hook come out, Dark Knight doesn't quite hit anyone, that's fine. We see Q build from Vala, another stacking quest. Talking about other stacking quests on the right side, the side of Icecrown Citadel Raiders, we do see Falstad went into that Q build. Maybe not quite as effective if you're 1v1ing a Leoric the whole time, but it'll eventually stack up. And a lot of damage coming out onto the blue team here. Ooh, Icy Morning gets hooked, however, there is no follow-up. Maybe we see Gorge come through soon. However, tends to come from both sides. And yeah, sorry, going to quickly cover talents before once we again cover the 10s. Oh, I'm going to watch up here because this looks like a danger. We do see Inver Rhythm from Tychus. We see Q from Falstad. We see Inner Light once again from Anduin, which I should actually mention did pay off last game. And we do see Stitches being hungry for more. Chisel... No, it's not Chisel, it's Chelsea. Chelsea going through a pretty dangerous area. They could have very much been collapsed upon. As we do see things happening. As we do see ults on both sides, we do see that they did go bunker, however, so they do have a little bit of safety. As well as Wind Tunnel being a good disengage for things such as Leoric's and Tomb. So we can see that come out. Commandeer Odin just being the typical pick for Tigers, though you have seen it later a little bit more, even if it is just in Storm Week. As well as last things to mention is Light Bomb, and what I expected, which did come in a bit late, the Gorge by the Stitches. Frank Castle getting poked down a little. Bit rude. Bit unnecessary. Here we are. But anyway, from the left side, we do see for ults Taunt, which was a while ago, so we won't talk too much about that, as that is what all this comp is entirely about. Actually, that was an excellent Horrify, and that will be Chelsea dropping the bunker. And I would like to see an Entomb here. Well, doesn't get Chelsea, gets the other two, and that will be both Xerxes and Sin70 going down. Chelsea very much thinking about stepping back in to get those gems, but decides against it. And the other thing to mention is Reign of Vengeance. Yeah! Actually, we see this Web Weaver is still up, as well as the mid one. We're getting a lot of pressure from this one Web Weaver phase. Oh yes, the red team did have the first Weaver. Where's the we are fine. Not any major problems has happened. It's just I lost my words. And sometimes it just happens like that. And I just realized I made it turn around the game ever so slightly, so give me a moment. Because I've just seen how close that is in terms of sound bars, and that should have fixed it. And oh, fun fact: the spider altars have health. Did anyone know that? They have a 500 now and faster, 999 health? You do now. Anyway, help me game. And that is a camp taken by the blue side. And actually, the side of Pidge Perilous Blades does actually have another turn-in, and that is then shortly followed by a turn-in being available for the side of Icecrown Citadel Raiders. If you did not know, or if you'd like to know, or be at least reminded, if that number count, gem count is glowing down the bottom, I'll actually show it again after this, just so we will have a nice comparison. Mr. Papercut does get hit by the charge from Varian, however it does not get taunted. Dark Knight does get slept. Stitch is a bit tired sometimes. He's a bit like a Snorlax in that regard. He gets a bit tired. You're a big boy. You use a lot of energy when you move around. You need to sleep. I understand. I'm in the same boat like 98% of the time. Actually, Dark Knight is looking for the Hook Gorge combo, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. In terms of who you want to get hooked, the answer, none of them. None of them have a good escape. I like the idea. I like the reasoning. Didn't quite pay out. As we actually see a lot of damage come out onto the side of ICCR. And that is actually the fishing hook will be finally online. This fishing hook will give Dark Knight a lot of extra reach. And this is where Stitches comes from a bit of a menace to a nightmare at times. And that is a Varian with 34 gems being taken into the fort. There is a stun coming out. There is a sidewall going down. Frank Castle needs to live here. That's an excellent stun coming out. There is Gus pushing Frank Castle into the sidewall. And that is a charge to his ally. However, Icy Morning won't have the same privilege. And they are being abandoned by their team. Yes, Violet didn't actually go Gambit talent this time. So it's not as bad as it could be. They didn't have any gems on them. So it could have been worse. But at the end of the day, it is not ideal. And that hook now hits Mr. Craig. And now, actually, as I said, now that we see... Oh, that is very unfortunate. Right at the same second as they released the ghost form, they went down. Not ideal, but not out of the woods. Not out of it yet. Actually, I'm going to mention it now. If you have the glowing gem counter, it means you have turn-in. If your gem counter is not glowing, you do not have turn-in. Big brain time with Lime Bus. You're welcome. Anyway, going back to the game, we do actually see the turn-in for red will be coming out shortly. And actually, is blue looking at boss? No, they're just posturing there. They're just getting gems. They're changing their mind. They're going back down. And actually, we do see here, Mr. Papercut is actually carrying a large amount of gems. I would let just Mr. Papercut hand them in. But now we have a 31 Jed Pinata bird on the line. And that was bold. Never face check a bush. Tailstompin flies in. We're likely going to see a gust. This is horrifying. Actually, Stitch is getting quite low. And that will be Dark Knight going down first. Blaze is not in a very good position. We do see Mr. Craig going through. There's a charge, and the Entomb just comes out a little bit too late. So close, yet so far from confirming that kill. Mr. Pepper is halving, and that will actually be just one kill going over to the side of Pidge's Perilous Blades. And this is just melted at this point. They don't have their tank. Oh, they do have Blaze who can work as a tank. But they do not have as confident... They don't have such as a big front line currently. As Stitches is a lot of your kind of damage. So he is able to keep you in the fight pretty comfortably. However, we do not see that Stitches up as he's only just respawned. That could have been a very bad fight for actually Blue Team now. Think about it. That was actually the Gul'dan who was gorged first. Gul'dan, squishy. Doesn't have an escape outside of Demon Circle, but we do see that the blue team was able to turn around the luck. Frank Castle sitting here as we now have 2 Pinatas on the field, one being Mr. Papercut with 34 gems and the other Frank Castle with 47. He has almost as many gems as Icecrown Citadel Raiders as a whole. That's a lot. That is a lot of gems. She'll be right. She'll be right as rain. Actually, I am doing poor on paper... Oh, no, I'm not paperwork. Jeez. I am doing poor on camera work, but anyway, looking back at it, we do have the blue team just clearing waves. We do have that hand, and once again, 78 gems. That 18 gems over margin. Actually, we see now red is posturing by their bruiser camp. Are they just going to do it, or are they going to try to interrupt? Dark Knight looks like they may be looking for a hook. Frank Castle got their 47 in. 1 Pinata is down, everyone. We are getting fine. And actually, that will be the blue web is going over to the side of Pidge's Perilous Blades. And this camp, they will know that this camp is currently being done. That will appear on map up until it is capped, where it will disappear. And now that bruiser camp will actually help a lot with the alleviating the pressure of mid. This camp soaking up a lot of the spider's damage, not unless Pidge's Perilous players decide to push with it. We'll see where this goes. Actually, we do see a little bit of a split. Nope, never mind. Mr. Craig changing their mind. We do have Blaze split from the rest of the team, so we do see the decision to go back down. What's happening here? Gul'dan, that is an interesting place to be. Need Horrify. Oh, nope, that will be Chelsea getting out. Icy Morning now in a very bad situation. And that will be Hook not quite connecting with anyone. Let's go back down here. And we do have Fort falling once again. The other mid we're already down, top soon to follow, and bottom slowly bleeding out. And that will be all she wrote for bot. And that will be all she wrote for top. And I've clicked on the leader menu. Thank you for killing that, Mr. Papercut. It was going to get really annoying really soon. Anyway, we do have a fight breaking out down here. Vala was hooked and Vala is dead. Sometimes it just works out like that. Sometimes you're stacking Qs. Other times you're being eaten by a grotesque monster. Really, just for two things promised in life. Not death and taxes, but hitting your Qs and being gorged by stitches. You know, I said all that and then went, what am I saying? Anyway, looking at this, we do have the red team on boss. We don't actually... Blue team doesn't really have too much connect. There is such a... With that being a person down, it's such a dangerous thing to push into, especially with Dark Knight. Does have a decent amount of zoning potential, as well as the Blaze, as well as the Anduin, as well as the Felstart. They all have amazing zoning potential, and actually, now I'm looking at it, it has a decent combo. You have Wind Tunnel into Blaze Charge, into Anduin Light Bomb, etc, etc, etc. Not good. And actually, we do see Blue Team is getting closer to the hand, and once again, however, we do have a boss pushing top. So we'll see this clear, and likely, while that's being cleared, we'd see red turn in bottom, and such is the way of how things go. Or Dark Knight just turns in top and makes me a liar. And changes his mind. Excellent. Just watching boss get cleared. Will they win the race? It's one, and they both go down roughly the same time. What is happening over here? As we just see people sign posture. I'll start backing as he's a very mana-hungry boy by the looks of it. You do get that with the Mage Felstars, so let's have a quickly look at the talent, as we do have that going into the Flow Rider, Airy Gust, so yep, that Mage starred typical build. So we do also see Boomerang, as well as, interesting hammer games. Chelsea barely gets out. Frank Castle doesn't actually get the charge, or is taunt on them. Swing out charge, taunt, we do have that coming out. There's an excellent Gust, we do have Bunker coming out. That was a lot of defensive tools used for 1 and 2. And actually that is still Stitches going down. Chelsea does step back in. Mr. Craig doesn't have anything for it, neither does Frank Castle. That is Chelsea getting down with 36 gems, but however that is the Stitches going down, and 20's going over to the side of Pidge's Perilous plays. We do see that Glory to the Alliance. Yeah, Glory to the Alliance is picked by the Varian. Violet goes Acrobat, which means she gets resets on her Qs. Thank you to the repeating arrow. That is a big charge coming out from Blaze. Mr. Craig is slapping them. Mr. Craig, speaking of which, hasn't chosen his ult yet. Speaking about chosen ults, we do have the Nano Boost on the... Did I even talk about Nano Boost this game? On the Ana, which is actually a lot of damage with the Gul'dan. Gul'dan went the Horrify upgrade of Haunt. And what's it actually called? Nano Fusion and... Pibone Daddy himself. The good old... Leoric still to choose. Speaking of 20s, we have 20s come through for the side of Icecrown Citadel Raiders. We do see big red button picked up by the Tarkus. Wind Tunnel, there it is, from the Farstard. Bunker upgrade from the Blaze. Hungry Stitches picked up by the Stitches. As well as Inner Fire by the Anduin. We do actually have... We can see that we... Icecrown Citadel Raiders have... are still at the hand in. They still have it. Chelsea finally getting that 41 in, thankfully. And Dark Knight was scorched. And was pulled further into Anduin's team. And that was charge hit. And that is Wind Tunnel pushing your runner. And that is now Varian dead. Not ideal. That's not something you want to fight anymore. Dark Knight is going down. However, we do have much more of a front line still for the side of Icecrown Citadel Raiders. However, I'm sorry, but with all heroes to lose during this phase, Varian is probably not the worst, as he does have the slowest clear out of the whole team. We have a very brave Leoric in bottom. Mr. Craig seeing that the enemy was just above him. What's going to happen here? I just shiver, sorry. Mr. Paper got in an interesting position, and now we do see Buried Alive picked. Cersei's run straight for that bush. Mr. Craig hitting the bucket, the Drain Hope. However, it does not commit to it, which probably a wise idea. You don't really want to commit to that too much. And even Red Team doesn't actually fully commit to that because Buried Alive is such a strong ability. It is a silence for 3 seconds. Maths. Yeah, a silence for 3 seconds in a basically unscapable area. Without Anduin, that is very hard for people to get out. Now I can close this. Yeah. Neither team has turned at this point. Both very close. Maybe about maths. Two coins, 3 gems between each of them to get their turn next turn. Next turn, and we'll actually be doing a lot. That is, it actually will be a 20-minute. What's the word I'm looking for? 20-minute objective, which is getting quite strong at this point. How has it been 20 minutes? What is the time? Oh my gosh, I'm getting tired. Anyway, we're getting a second win today, as we do see the red team turning in. They do actually need to interrupt here, as that is something they can't quite let happen, as that will be quite a lot. Bunker comes out. Players should be able to just like, boop, over here. So, you know, boop. There we go. That is a charge. That is a good sleep, and that is a lot of PL coming out for Chelsea. That is wind tunnel down. That was friend hook used. However, the red team at the end of the day still do have turn in. It's just blue hasn't had. I'm doing it again. Icecrown Citadel Raiders does have turn in because Pidge's Perilous plays hasn't had the chance to pick up gems with just how waves have been. Like, yeah, sure, they finally have a top wave to collect, but it's only just now they've been able to collect it, and now that the red team see, the team of Icecrown Citadel see that they're all back, they're split, that means they're able to kind of just poke in. Dark Knight looking for a hook. Doesn't find Frank Castle, does find... Oh, and that is Hungry Stitch going off. There's a taunt coming out, there's a stun. Icy Morning does get the roll, doesn't quite get hit by everything. Dark Knight will be the first one to go down, however. Icy Morning does roll in. That was a little bit of a wish by Mr. Craig. Mr. Craig is running down the backline, however, Mr. Papercut is the lowest, does get out. And actually, even only one dying there is not bad for Icecrown Citadel Raiders. It could have been far worse. I like the boss call. Boss into Handon. You need to make sure the red team doesn't hand him, but you need to boss into Handon. In fact, if I was Mr. Craig, I would... we can't. I'd turn in at least, so you can just interrupt them. Chelsea just coming in to be a little bit annoying. Crate Beast trying their best just to make sure they have the help. Mr. Craig getting a little bit of a ping of them, a little bit of, oh no! Good interrupts. There's a lot of damage coming out. Good sweep. And we're actually looking to see a fight force here as red team decide to disengage. I like just to see Pidge's Perilous play its hand in now. You have the boss top. You have an open bot lane. You can hand in. You can push. You can end. Let's see where this goes from here. And we do have the option of just pushing in bot because we do have 2 going top melee. That is Odin That's Odin dropped, and I'd like to see what is happening as the objective's only just pushing in now. Actually, we have a very safe play by Pidge's Perilous plays as they do back out to make sure that this wave is also prepped to see what they can get of that mid forward. As we're actually going to have keep being pushed, well, not much happening on core. We do have the Sand Beast getting a little bit of shields, but not too much as we see the first Web Weaver drop down here, the second Web Weaver drop right on core, and the third Web Weaver basically drop at the gates. Not ideal if you're Icecrown Citadel Raiders, not the end of the world, but pretty close. Is the third and final fort down for on the side of Icecrown Citadel Raiders. So interesting to see where Pidge's Perilous plays goes from here. As we have 2 Web Weavers now on core, that is core falling. We do see it hitting 80% now. Xerxes does get at least amount of mega out onto Mr. Craig. Wind Tunnel does knock out Crate Beast with that Nono Boost. We do see a rather large stun coming out, but however that is core going down, and that will be the end of the game. GG, and that will be now a 1-1 between Pidge's Perilous Plays and Icecrown Citadel Raiders. Let me put it back to my stat screen as I'm pushing all the wrong buttons constantly. And I need now to go into game summary, then push this button. Boop. Chat's in the middle of the screen, fantastic. Anyway, looking at it. We have builds apparently first this time, keeping you on your toes. Pretty standard. I can't really say like anything outstanding. We do have Drain Hope build by Leoric. It's not used as much just due to it needing a little bit of higher level of execution compared to both auto attack and ghost build. However, it did actually pay off here, which is why I was interested to see why Mr. Craig held V20 for so long. Speaking of which, that variant, kind of a normal build. Ana did have the grenade buffs in a recent patch. I'm not sure which one exactly. So it's interesting, kind of cool to see that come out, as Ana had fallen to the wayside a bit in recent patches. Old Gul'dan build, tried and true. Vala being Q build, also kind of just very standard array for that. Tychus, interesting to see that there's only 51 stacks of improvement by the end, because of how bursty the fights were. Tychus wasn't really able to get really any kind of sustained value. I may have liked to see something else there, but it's just a bit too hard to say in kind of the heat of things. Felstar, love the adjustment between Felstar and Blaze. Both Felstar picking up the off lane early on, just because Blaze does have such a hard time into Leoric, especially with his creepy Drain Hope hand of his. Well, with that skin, a bucket, but you get the idea. Anduin, same build as last time, I believe, so not too much of a change there. And we do have Stitches. We do see a pretty normal build for Stitches. Just, I'm wondering if Hungry Stitches was the pick. Other than that, I don't really have any complaints. Just interesting. It's an interesting pick. I'm wondering if anything else would change, but however, that's in the past. We don't know that. All I can say it is now, as I tab and go over to this screen here. Click this button. That's just not even correct button. This button, and then this button. We now see it is 1-1. As I put us back over to the map view screen, I am going to mute myself, put some music on, have a drink, and I'll be right back with you. See you in a bit. This music does get you kind of hyped for HOTS, actually, yeah. Hot soundtrack, let's go. Anyway, that's Blackheart's Bay music. That's not the map we're on. We are on Towers of Doom, and we are actually going to put it over immediately, as I have already loaded up the map. I was thinking ahead for once, go me. So let me just click this button, and we will get right into it. So, actually, let's start over there. Oh my lord! I'm going to start with him. We have Mr. Papercut of a Murky. Look at this! What a guy! Anyway, we also have a Malthael. So we do have a weird, nice little double situation here. I think we'll see an Octorap. Sin 7E on the Anduin once again. Xerxes is back on the Tychus, and Dark Knight on the Anubarak. It seems a little bit disjoint there, but we'll see where that goes. Anyway, on the left side, we do see Crate Beast on the Medivh. Frank Castle on the Zul. Icy Morning on Li Ming. Mr. Craig on the... Oh my, we're getting really funky with drafts. Leoric and Pidge on the Brightwing. We may actually see a main tank Zul here. Actually, we do see Cheese coming out bottom. Dark Knight is able to summon those beetles, and we do see beetles coming out immediately. That tower goes down first. We just see the normal sweep coming out here. Chelsea will be there to clean up pretty quick. However, that is half a tower already down on a map where structures are important. However, the thing you have to remember, portals are cheating. Now, Pidge's Perilous plays are thinking with portals. I said my one joke for this Medivh pun. I'm done. I swear. There's probably going to be another one, but I'll try not to. I'm going to. I know I'm going to. Anyway, let's look at talents while I'm just going to I saved things for too long. We had to have Medivh keeping that stacks going, that Arcane Rift. I like to call Arcane Conviction, because if you die with it, you lose it all. There's no joke there. It's just how it works. Anyway, the other thing we see stacking is the Regeneration Master. The only thing to really note outside of that is Aether Walker means Li Ming is probably going to go teleport build. Actually, this is his tower almost down once again. Actually, that is a good teleport. And we do see a rotate onto Zin 70, as that will be a root coming out, and that will likely be a blow up, unless that is an excellent body by the Beatles. Zin 70 still in an awkward spot. That is a polymorph coming out, and that will be them going down. A lot of burst still missing from the side of ICC Pidge players. You did see Li Ming actually teleport in to try and kill the Anduin. Just it didn't quite really do anything, just purely because they don't have Calamity yet. They don't have at level 7. Is so important for it. Actually, we do see that despite this bottom tower dropping down already down here, we do have a little bit of run of the map by the blue team. I like to see them try and get a little bit more value of these sappers. Anyway, they got close enough to the gate. And that just balanced everything out that then happened down here. There you go. Decision making like that is quite hard to come into the game, as you just kind of go, okay, what can we do to kind of create advantage? And while I did like the idea of a red team, the fact that they couldn't really step in just because Anduin died, thanks to that Medivh portal, it did make it much harder for them to kind of do anything. Looking into once again, we do see more stacking talents. We do see the Inver Rhythm from the Tychus and the Inner Light from the Anduin. Talents picked up in both hands. Actually, we see Triumvirate picked up. Did I add an L for no reason? Yeah, Triumvirate? I've never said that word properly. I've always had an L. Let's not talk about that. That talent's missing now. Can't see it. Doesn't exist. Definitely called it the right thing. Triumvirate. I'm still saying it wrong. Anyway, we're getting dejected phase. We're likely going to see actually just trades here. Mr. Papercut actually looking to annoy Mr. Craig to no end of adjective. We need this to go over quick to the side of Pidge's Perilous plays in, as Mr. Craig is not having too much of an option, as there is a Murloc running him down. There's a nice hit onto Xerxes. That will be Great Beast taking this. Be interesting to see what happens up here now, as Mr. Craig can't step back in. We do see teleport coming in, but that is already the top two altars went over to the side of Icecrown Citadel Raiders, while the bottom one went over to Pidge's Perilous plays. All still to play for. This is a longer map, and actually this is one of the comeback maps, so interesting where it goes. Great Beast getting very aggressive with these portals. Drops run to Xerxes. Xerxes does get hit with that pull. That root. Zin 7E times that pull beautifully, meaning the cleanse, the unstoppable during the pull does go off when the root finishes its channel, meaning they don't actually get rooted. Well done by Zins. Very nice. Dark Knight getting just rooted again. Actually, if we're seeing that many roots, let me have a look at what build we're getting. The good old Care Strikes build. Good old Care Strikes from Leoric down there. We do see, however, we do of the Evade, which is a very good pick into things such as Tychus. Tychus being a heavy auto attack hero, which you can see from Inver Rhythm, meaning that they are managing to avoid a lot of extra damage. And there we see the Calamity. There's a nice triple stun by Dark Knight. Ooh, I see Morning, you got low there, jeez! But everyone does live at the end of the day, despite there being such a good coordinated effort from the blue team to jump on someone. But best laid plans by Dark Knight the best laid plans are often ruined, as we see Dark Knight digging an excellent stun. Rank Castle doing the best step in. Reducing an excellent orb by Li Ming there. It's not running quite going. Mr. Papercut getting very low in an awkward spot. Icy Morning did actually blink out. They didn't blink onto the Mr. Papercut, and that should be a dead Murloc. The thing about Murky here, it's not ideal to say, is Li Ming, if you know how she works, you know that anyone dying does reset her cooldowns. And to put it lightly, Murky has one of the smallest health pools in the game. Maybe Eric has less, maybe Baylog. Oh, Eric probably has less. Baylog definitely. So let's just see where it goes. We do see Zul pushing in. Bone Shield was activated. They're getting that evasion up, so they aren't taking all that damage from Xerxes. Mr. Papercut just jumping on the backline. Great Beast in an awkward position, and that is Murloc going down to actually the right wing. That orb barely misses. Chelsea, gets pulled out. Mr. Craig doing a little sweep. Dark Knight managing to also get out, dropping his beetles, but will not get dropped himself. And that will be now an even game, as we have 32 to 32 on the altars. And 10's being rapidly approached by both teams. We're really the soldier. Sorry, I'm not used to seeing this one, but I actually like the pick into actually the Zul. Zul's main source of CC. Root. A little bit slow eventually, but root. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where we go from here. I need to slow down how I'm talking. I just realized I'm talking very fast. And actually, we do see the Octo. We do see the Malfail with their last rights. That's a good unstop because Murky could have just grabbed you and ran away with you. Oh, interesting. 2 things of bribe we used there. Right, anyway. I do like how this is going here, just for rotations between both of these. Anyway, looking at this. Yeah, just the Murky and the Leoric. Not Leoric, the Malfail are just swapping lanes when they can. Speaking of Malfail, they have on a pair of horse, they are riding down, they're in an awkward position, and they do just rotate out of safety. But speaking of ults, we do have Octograb, as I mentioned. We do also have Last Rites from Malfail. 2 very strong ults, one being a point-and-click CC, which Medivh does kind of counter with his bubble. Let's not get into how broken Medivh is, that's the whole thing. We do see Web Wrap from Nubrak. That was actually an excellent ley line, as we do have the team collapsing onto them. However, oh, that is a very nice, actually, pick into the Poison Over. I thought it was going to be something along the lines of Skeletal Mages, just because of that extra slow, the extra kind of bodies in the way to eat some of the damage. However, that Poison Over melted the Cocoon. Speaking of other ults, we do have the Entomb once again for Leoric. We have Leyline from Medivh, as I said, Poison Over from Zul. Li Ming went the Disintegrate, also very good choice in the Cocoon. We do have ults traded. And last but not least, we have Blink Heal, and still yet to be started by Anduin. Probably going to be, oh no, I need to sneeze, give me a moment. And I'm back. We are probably going to see Light Bomb from Anduin, but it'll be interesting to see where we go from here. Because really, the only thing to stop Hollywood Salvation is Brightwing's Polymorph. And yeah, we do see Hollywood Salvation picked up. That is the fish being slapped on the Crate Beast. Crate Beast does get out. However, Crate Beast has finished Arcane Rift, so that means they are safe. And we do see a disengage by the side of Pidge's Perilous plays. I want to see how it goes against into the Anduin now. Anduin makes this much harder to play. I like the change. I like this kind of change. That's a pull onto Dark Knight. Mr. Paper getting low, going down. Puff isn't quite killed, so it does delete their wave. That orb doesn't quite connect. Xerxes is taking a lot of damage. Dark Knight also quite low. And this will just be them kind of regrouping. However, even with just the kills that are coming through for the blue team, we do still see the red team of Icecrown Citadel Raiders are ahead on level. And let me just show the talents real quick just so everyone can see. However, Pidge's Perilous players not too far behind. And Mickey's dead. Sometimes it just be like that. See, I'm just looking to see if there's anything of note between this. We do see an auto attack build from, at least auto attack at 13 from Leoric this time, so probably again at 16. Will be interesting to see unless we get the full % damage build. But until then we see, and we can see Cannoneer from Li Ming. Nice. Not something you see usually. Frank Castle in a bit of awkward position, and we do see Octobrigade coming out. That's good. Protect, meaning Frank Castle does manage to avoid all that damage. Lane line comes out. Actually, we're probably going to see Anduin Salvation again soon. That is Entomb. Anduin's just a bit too best position, and that will be the Zul going down. Sappers do manage to get into the keep, however, they don't do too much. Icy Morning, bit of awkward position, does step back into the puffer, does manage to step out. Bubble comes out. Mr. Papercut getting very low, they'll miss Papercut down next. And that will be a technically 2-man kill. Well, 1.25 man kill over to the side of Pidge's Perilous plays. It's adding a little bit of pizzazz to it now. And Dark Knight's on top. Laning Beetle, everyone. Woo! So now we're getting back to the calm. The fight happened. Now we just go back to, let's do our camps. Let's do the lanes. Let's have the Medivh scout us! Medivh, great scouter, able to actually be safe throughout it all. Actually, we do see quite an aggressive portal onto it, just not quite having anyone in range. We do see a lot of Ravens appear, but not too much else happen. Dark Knight does get rooted, not much happens there. That's fine. Frank Castle just taking a little bit of damage for it, but we do see the side of Pidge's Perilous players does decide to back out since Xerxes did drop the Commandeer Odin. Should we see 16? Both teams are pretty on track for 16. Frank Castle does get into the backline, does drop for Ruton's Design. Zins does get that out. We do see that was broken so quickly, and that's why you take. I'm doing the laser beam motion, disintegrate into the cocoon, just because it destroys cocoon very quickly. Because cocoon doesn't have health, so to speak. It has how many kind of ticks of damage it can take, and well, disintegrate has a lot of ticks of damage very quick. We do see 16s picked up first by the side of well. I believe that was an Octograb last rights combo. That's very bad timing, actually, for Pidge's Perilous plays. Good pull from Zin70. I still can't say it. I will never be able to say it. Sorry, Zins. Unless you tell me how to say your name in a message, I won't be able to say it. That one's on me. And we do see both ultras being taken top by both Mr. Papercut and Chelsea. However, we don't see anything happening down here as the team of Pidge's Perilous players is a bit too focused on fighting currently, and we do just see them kind of running at each other. Xerxes is in danger. However, Zin70 does get the burst healing off that they need, as we do see the Desperate Prayer may have been used. I'm not actually sure. Sometimes it'd be like that. Oh, it's this Temporal Flux has been a constant kind of enemy of mine. Dark Knight does make a very good decision of actually cocooning Crate Beast and being teleported onto them. It is taken out pretty quick. Dark Knight is being a little bit run down. Teleporter is dropped. Teleporter portal is dropped. Oh. Mr. Grey gets once again taken out by the Murky and the Malfowl. Malfowl actually getting a second last right stack because of that. But however, Brightwing does get a little bit of vengeance as they take down a little bit of a baby Murloc. There's an excellent dive on Icy. Icy does get hit by the double stun. Xerxes to dash in and try to finish him. Frank Castle getting very low. The Murloc is floating at them threateningly. Icy Morning does get a nice combo onto Murky. That means Murky dies. And Frank Castle was able to get out without dying, albeit barely. However, the thing to note, Murky does still have Octo up. That is dangerous, to say the least. And hopefully we don't see Leoric die again, because Leoric has been a bit bullied by the Murky and the Melf, which sounds like a really weird version of Pinky and the Brain. But let's not get into that, because I do not know enough about that show. Crate Beast is showing that the whole team is there, and that's a bold choice. That's a good protect, and there's Murky, who just got deleted. Chisel is rooted. Chisel does have his unstoppable button, so he should be able to escape that, given the need. And that camp is just quickly cleared. We do see a double Ultra Phase bottom now. Leoric is getting that top over very soon. And we do see the Mithril Mace over as there. We do see quite a heavy auto attack built comp here. And there's Cocoon going down. Frank Castle's running back. We do actually see Icy Morning getting broken out. Zins may actually drop Salve here. No, we do see the team important. Mr. Papercut going down first. Dark Knight getting a little bit melted. However, did have the spell armor to do so. There it is. That's what Brightwing needs to void for, but Brightwing didn't have it this time. I'd like to have seen... Nope, he didn't go it. And that's another Arcane Rift. That's an excellent Q. We're seeing a lot of damage coming out. Pidge in a very dangerous spot, having a Murloc running at them. Doesn't manage to blink out. Icy Morning caught out from the team. Does portal out. Great Beast soon to follow. That stun hits both Zul and Medivh. Xerxes is able to get over that bottom altar, however. All these fights are being really close, but they are still just kind of, they being Icecrown Citadel. Icecrown Citadel Raiders is just kind of barely getting objective while this is all happening, despite the Murloc exploding, despite everything that happens. Just, it doesn't seem to be quite connecting with the altars, so to speak. It doesn't quite to be kind of all there. It is all close in saying that. There is only 5 shots of the objective in it. There is only 5 in it. That's honestly nothing too far. Like, I've seen games, honestly, where a team is 20, 30 behind, be turned around. So it'll be interesting to see what happens as we're entering the late game. As we see, one more level is needed, but only 1 level away from 20s is Icecrown Citadel Raiders, while Pidge's Perilous plays is 2 away, so both pretty close. I need to move the camera over here more. I'm an interesting camera out. That's unfortunate. That's really bad timing, actually, for this side. Could be worse timing for the side of Icecrown Citadel Raiders, but could be much worse. And that is finally that top objective being taken over by Pidge's Perilous Blaze. I wonder. Murky is the combo build. I just thought of it now. I'm just like, okay, what was Murky going? But yeah, with the Tougher Fish, with Wrath of Cod, you typically see and a Shark too at 20, so it'll be interesting to see where that build goes. Especially because this gives bonus damage to the Pufferfish, so on, so on. Actually, we do see 20s coming through first for Pidge's Perilous Blaze. We do see the Buried Alive from the Leoric. That Silence from the Tomb can be so strong. Did actually do quite a lot in that Spiders game. Spooderbuts. Temple of... anyway. We do see Paul coming out Xerxes. Xerxes meaning they do get to live, and we do actually have a bit awkward of a fight here. However, that is the most important tower taken over by the side of Pidge's Perilous Blaze. This lets you control so much. And a Shark too. So I'm just going to point me that immediately. We do again have Medivh cheats now. We do have the Poison Orb. Nova upgrade. Andariel's Visage. Which, if you're not the biggest Diablo thing, that's fine. I'm not. I think it's an angel, pretty sure. Oh, Mr. Greg being ran down. That's an excellent unstop, meaning they are able to dodge Dark Knights. Rewind even. That was a lot of potential. Oh no, that could have happened. Anyway, just to touch on the last few things, we had Tail Rush's elements and invisible friends for the side of Pidge's Perilous Blaze. Oh! And on the right side, we do see that, and a Shark too, so that Murky does have a one-shot build, but Medivh can kind of counter that. Anyway, we do have Rewind, as it said, from the Anubarak. Light of Stormwind from Anduin. Brightwing needs to save that point now for Anduin. Anduin needs to have that cancelled, otherwise they do just kind of get out, and that was melted. And Cocoon's gone. Other things to note is no one can stop death from Malfowl, meaning they will have an instant respawn button. Oh, Vieg. And Vieg was found. Yep, and there it is. Yep, so that means it will come back pretty soon, however. And that is Anduin's Silence. That's actually the only other kind of way to stop it. That is a good kill, and Icy Warning blinks in, blinks out like no one's business. And that is actually an oh no, to put it lightly. Oh yeah, big red button from Darkus, that's one I was forgetting. Murky does back up to replace the egg, however. Blue team of Pidge's Perilous Blaze does need to do a little bit of, not trimming, that's not the word. They need to kind of fix the lanes up, make sure they can get this top one back, which they may not be able to in time. However, with both Anduin and Anubarak down, they should be able to get at least a comfortable 6 shots in, if not a full 8. No, they have this one. 8, if not a full 10. Actually, Leoric is getting there, but it doesn't look like they'll be there in time, especially because that was now taken. We do need a little bit of patience now from the blue team if they want to get full value. There's Chelsea going down. Last right's actually hit Crate Beast, which, if you're full, doesn't really do anything. And that is Malfowl now using his... I can't remember what it's called. Malfowl used his... No one can stop death. That's Murky going down. And we should see Brightwing going to that bottom objective. And actually, the blue team is running down the time. We do see Red respawned. They are starting to push back in. Crate Beast is ready to push up if need be. However, no one pushed in. We do see 8 shots going over the side of Pidge's Perilous Blaze. So now we are in a danger zone where one wipe can spell doom. Boss is lethal. Any of these each camps are lethal now for the side of Pidge's Perilous Blaze. Well, Icecrown Citadel Raiders, I wouldn't actually call them out of it by any means. They still have very good tools to finish this off. And you can see that they were scouting the boss, just as I mentioned, like, boss ends. You cannot let the blue team get that. And we just see all this posturing, but meanwhile we have these two pushing bottom. The Crate Beast just doing their best to keep an eye on everything. And they're doing pretty well at it. Yeah, we're just getting into that final phase of we've got a bunch of posturing. No one wants to make that mistake. You see the red team playing both safe and not, in a regard where they have to check certain things, but they can't afford to give... They can't afford to die, but they can't afford to give anything over. Now we see bottom. This is being taken. If the team of Pidge's Perilous Blaze was kind of maybe a bit more, not onto it, but maybe looking ahead. They could have kind of seen if they could push this, but no, they changed their mind. They go up to this double ulti phase, and if they can actually pick someone before anything happens, that may be it. And the posturing begins. Great Beast pokes his nose out. Murky is getting that top wave. I'm going to leave the camera where it is because we see a fight's about to break out. That is an excellent tomb. That was the worst person to get hit. And that Anduin barely gets it off. Brightwing, you need to interrupt, bud. Brightwing is not able to interrupt. That is Mr. Craig going down first. And that is a big ley line. I see Morning getting a little bit damage out. And actually you hear the swipes going from Frank Castle, the grouping just a bit too much to actually get through them. And that is actually Dark Knight, Zen7E, Chisel, Chelsea all getting line. That's Anduin down. That is not the one you want. I see Morning gets run down by Mr. Papercut, does get blinked onto. As Mr. Papercut in 60, that is them going down. We see now the excellent charge in by Dark Knight. Dark Knight did have his shield up, however, they are just too low. Oh, they did not quite go down. Li Ming went down. Frank Castle, Pidge all low. Crate Beast still low. We do have Chelsea and Xerxes doing their best, but what can they do into this? Mr. Papercut coming back in. Crate Beast trying their best. Chelsea is about to be in awkward position. That's them going down. Xerxes now did have Mr. Craig spawn right in front of Mr. Craig. Chases after. I might expect to see a entomb. That's an interesting entomb. That is him going down, and that will be the last shots of the game. And it will mean the game and the series goes over to Pidge's Perilous plays. Well done, both teams. Excellent series. Right, I am going to, once again, open up this thing. Push this button. And there we go. Let's look at stats first this time, once everything gets out right way. I'll also talk about comps once again. As I said, it was very interesting to see both Malfoy and Murky on the map. I wouldn't necessarily call it a... It can work. I understand the logic behind it, but I'm wondering whether this may have been the best map to implement it. I did like what I saw. They did actually... They stayed in it a long time. They were able to keep in it. Mr. Paper actually with that very interesting one-shot build. They did actually have a lot of soak compared to even Chelsea. Just both of them just kind of keeping a lot of macro pressure up that Mr. Craig had to deal with it, but they did rise to the occasion. They did die a few times, but they did rise to the occasion. I just think, all in all, the blue team of Pidge's Perilous plays did have a little bit more team fight thanks to that Li Ming, thanks to that Medivh, and interesting tanks to say the least, but Zul tank has been known to be a thing as well as the Auric. But yeah, I liked both comps a lot. Just at the end of the day, Pidge's Perilous plays did take the map. Going over talents. Sorry, thank that. Mr. Greg has just looked over. Going over talents, we do see a pretty standard fare of things once again. We do see the auto attack build from Leoric, changing it up from the W build from the last map. Auto attack build from Zul, meaning they were actually able to stay alive in that last fight for quite a bit, meaning it did actually go over to that team actually coming clutch. Medivh. Li Ming. Tel build, interesting to see Cannoneer. It's not something you see picked often. You do see either Illusionist picked up quite a bit, or Glass Cannon, depending on the build, so it's nice to see that one for a change. Brightwing did very well here as well. The only thing I would have interesting being about Brightwing there, they were really the main way to stop Anduin. Anduin with his Holy Word Salvation, as there wasn't really many interrupts up until Buried Alive came up. And once Buried Alive came up, it did make those fights much easier for Pidge's Perilous plays. But looking at the other side still, they did still have that very good... Anduin was actually very good with his positioning and his timing on Holy Word Salvation. I think they're actually waiting for Polymorph to come out quite a bit, and they meant they were able to get full durations off for a lot of the time. Looking at the Nubrak, they did actually manage to get off... what is this talent called again? Regeneration Master. It's not something you see picked up much anymore. Either people opt into the extra spell armor or the Legion of Beetles? No, that's the 16. The Beetle 101 that summons at a X amount of time. Anyway, Tychus did actually get more stacks this map. We do see 106 stacks on him, so well done. I did like the Tychus into both those tanks, and Zul actually made a very good point of picking the Evasion at 1. Did well. Murky Bribe. Murky to Murky things. Actually, that build is very scary. I've died to it more than I would like to admit, but I will admit. But yeah, that will be that. So let me put it over back to my map view screen. Transition. There we go. Let me update the score one last time. As we can see, it was 2-1 over to Pidge's Perilous plays. Nice stuff from both teams. However, that will be it for me tonight. I'd like to thank anyone who came out for coming out, because it makes it a bit nicer when there are some viewers at least, even if you're quiet. I do appreciate you being here. Other than that, that was NEXOMANIA. I can't remember what this division is called.